Hey, what's up YouTube? In this video, I'll be showing you how to make a modern Subway restaurant. This is the amount of space required to make your modern Subway. And here are all of the materials that we will use throughout the build. Begin by placing a black concrete on the ground. Then leave a gap of 2, going right, 1, 2. Then place another black concrete. And then destroy 7 rows in the ground going right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And you can fill those in using black concrete. Extend towards the back of the build by 2, 1, 2. And once again, fill those 2 blocks in using black concrete. Leave a gap of 2, 1, 2, and then place a black concrete. And this time we are going to extend it up by 3. So 1, 2, 3. We then want to extend this row inwards by 2. So 1, 2, and we want to make it as high as the first row. Then we want to place a layer of white concrete directly behind the black concrete. Then we want to extend the white concrete so there is 1 row to the right of the layer of black. Add another row on top of it. Then extend the entire shape backwards like this. Then we want to take the bottom right hand corner of this shape and extend it out of the back by 2, 1, 2, and then across to the right by 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Then we want to extend forwards by 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Extend this 8th block upwards by 3. 1, 2, 3. Then we want to continue extending this bottom block forwards by 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then extend this block up by 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then we want to extend this entire row of 6 backwards, and it wants to separate itself from the row of 3 that we have behind. So in total, this is a row of 4. This is a row of 7, and they want to be very separate. So what we now want to do is extend the larger shape that we made 1 row inwards to the right. So we want to have this large 3D rectangular shape just like this. All of the white concretes behind it extending around and joining to the other large white rectangular shape. All of these want to be as high as the row that we made next to the large rectangular shape. And with this complete, what we now want to do is come all the way towards the front of the store, extend each black concrete up by 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. We're then going to place green concrete on top of them, join them together, and then extend them all the way over to the right. The point of this is to make them level with the black concrete that we have in the ground, to which we then want to extend an additional row forward. So we want to take all the green concrete, extend an additional row forwards, and then add an additional layer of green concrete on top of the shape that we have created. So we'll end up with this. What we then want to do is extend this black concrete row here forwards. This will join to the green concrete like so. And we can now install a window. So the window is going to basically just connect the black concrete that we built into the floor upwards. So it will join to the green concrete side. Now that we've done that, we can add 2 doors. So one door is here on the front, and we basically just want to add a vertical row of black glass pane just from the ground to the sign, and stick a vertical end rod just like this right in the middle of the door. We want to do the same thing on the opposite side, so we can't really choose where we want the door to be here. I want it to adjoin to the black concrete, and then we want to have the same end rod as we have on the front of the build. I also want to dig around the black concrete that we have on the front of the build. So basically, from the edge of this doorway here, all the way to the edge of the doorway on the front, and then we want to stick console in there and then place dandelions, just because I like how that looks. I also want to mark out where the actual pathway for the build is going to be. So the pathway is going to extend from this door here, and it's just going to extend forwards. We might even extend it just so that it flares out a little bit like this. Yeah, so we'll extend 3 rows of smooth stone forwards like this, right? And we also want to have 1 row of smooth stone extend all the way over to the right, hit the grid, and then we will make the entire rest of this particular side of the build smooth stone, extending all the way back. So we don't have to actually extend as far back as to come all the way to the grid, as we're going to stick a wall. So where can we I guess we can extend the wall from here. So just behind the large white concrete structure, part of the structure here, if we extend terracotta here, and then if we just focus on filling this part of the building with smooth stone, so we'll extend it, we'll join it into the actual inside of the subway just like this, come all the way to here, and then on the left side, I'm thinking that, I mean, we can either place terracotta so that it kind of like extends from the actual white concrete, or the terracotta can actually just extend up the side. It actually doesn't matter, since just to keep it in line with the grid, we'll just have it extend from the actual like front left hand corner like this, and it still looks really, really good. It looks as though that like it's part of actual subway, so that's looking pretty nice if you ask me. Well, now that we've done this, we want to mark out some car parking spaces. So if we come all the way to the end of this path, and we want to, from the end of this path going right, we want to dig in the ground and place 3 grey concrete. Then we actually want to have a white concrete, which is perfect because there's one here already, and then another 3 grey concrete in the ground. A white concrete, and then 3 grey concrete like this. Now, if we come all the way over to the opposite end, we want to dig yellow concrete in the ground against this smooth stone path, like this, opposite to where we placed the grey concrete. And then if we place some white concrete extending from the white concretes all the way in between the yellow concretes, and then dig out each individual space and replace it with grey concrete, that will give us 3 car parking spaces. Perfect, just like that. So along the pathway that we have here on the left, we are going to leave a gap of 1 between this white concrete here, place a black stone wall, then a gap of 2, black stone wall, add another on top of each, a beacon on top of each, and then black carpet on top of each. Then we have 2 nice little lights. And all that leaves us to do is make the sign. The sign is rather simple, so throw down a loom, open it up, throw a green banner in there, and the first letter we must make is S. So horizontal row of yellow across the top, the bottom diagonal row top left corner to bottom right corner. Next is U, vertical row of yellow on the left, on the right, horizontal across the bottom, that is U. Next, we want to make B. This is a vertical row of yellow on the left, the right, horizontal along the top, through the middle, and along the bottom. Next would be W. So we're actually swapping out our yellow dye now for white dye. So we start off by placing the white chevron pattern. Grab that, put that back in, throw green dye in there. We then want to place the green base indented pattern. throw the green dye out, white dye back in, vertical row of white on the left and the right. That is W. Next is A, so that's a vertical row of white on the left, the right, horizontal on the top, and straight through the middle. Last but not least is Y, so this is a diagonal row of white, top left corner to bottom right corner. We then want to make the lower half of the banner green. We then want to add the opposite diagonal pattern in white, which will give us Subway. And if we destroy this, come all the way up to the sign area here, we're going to leave a gap of 2 here on the left, and then we're going to place S-U-B-W-A-Y. Now, the sign actually isn't centered, nor can it ever be unless we shrink the amount of green concrete, but it doesn't bother me, and hopefully it doesn't bother you anyway. You might not have even noticed unless I pointed that out. I know that we've all been having a cool time outside, but now it's time to work on the interior. We have to dig up all of the grass and replace it using quartz bricks. With that complete, we can now work on the roof. So, come all the way up to the roof, and where we have this 7-shaped area of black concrete here, we want to continue extending the black concrete all the way to the left side of the build like this. Then, we want to place an additional row of black concrete here and here. So once it hits the white concrete wall, we extend it forwards and backwards like so. We then want to add 2 rows of black glass extending across. We might even make it 3 because then it'll actually line up nicely with the entrance. And then we are going to extend the black concrete forwards and backwards, and it will create quite a nice pleasing shape that also works with the actual roof itself. Another sort of sneaky way to make this all fit in a little bit better would be to fill in this wall, but I don't think that we're going to do that because we appreciate the extra space, don't we? Well, anyway, we are going to now fill in the roof using black stained glass. And honestly, the only way that I can tell that it's been completely filled in is by coming outside and checking. And with that complete, it's now time for us to work on the interior. First things first, inside Subway, we are going to make some seating. There's not much of it, but the first glass pane of the window, right next to the main entrance, we want to place 2 polished deep slate stairs extending out from the window towards the back of the store. End rods on the ends of these stairs, and then green carpet on top of the end rods. Place opposite placed stairs on the end of the table. Add some grey glazed terracotta behind with a couple of rows of azalea leaves on top. Then, against the glazed terracotta, polished deep slate stairs, end rods, and then green carpet on top of the end rods. So now that we have done this, we want to turn our attention to the actual working area, and we're going to place a row of 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 black concrete extending across, and I'm so tempted to just make it 5, because then it lines up perfectly with the door, and not that it matters, but it would look nicer for it to line up with the door, would it not? I think it would. So anyway, let's go with 5, we'll extend it, line it up with the door here, and we want to add glass pane all the way along the front of it, maybe even the side, probably not the side. So along this back wall here, we want to place a row of 1, 2, 3 black concrete just like this. Then we want to place a furnace, blast furnace, 1 on top. I just accidentally destroyed all of my items. Okay, well anyway, we are going to place stone slabs across the top blast furnace extending over to the left, then a birch trapdoor in front of the upper blast furnace like so. Then along this table space here, we are going to place a collection of green candles to look like cups, a couple of brewing stands, trapped by a hook on the ceiling above one, lever above the other, and then we'll throw an item frame on here, maybe stick a cookie here, we can even have a cake off here to the side, and then I'm going to stick a bunch of cauldrons behind the counter with item frames on the cauldrons, and then fill them up with like bread, steak, cooked chicken, pork, mutton, whatever it is that you may like on your individual sandwich. Then, leaving a gap of 1 between this back counter space here, we are going to place red concrete extending from the floor to the ceiling, then a row of blue concrete to the left of it, extend the upper block forwards 1, and then extend the red concrete forwards. Then we are going to place an upside down quartz stair just in front of the bottom here, and we'll stick a flower pot on top of the stair, a painting behind this, and then a glass bottle in a glow item frame above where we have the pot, a couple of stone buttons to the right of this, and now I finally decided that I do want to shrink this space. So I'm going to add a row of white concrete directly to the left side of Subway, and it's kind of an empty space here. Like, we could have a couple of single tables, so a couple of single tables, you could even leave a space in between them, so you could have like something like this, maybe just like a single table sneakily and creepily hidden in the corner like this, and then we could add some paintings to this side of the build. It's difficult to try and find something, so I'm thinking we either go for one single 1x2, and that's not the one I want. I'd like a bit of colour, that would be perfect. Maybe in the middle of this wall? I think that that's okay. We can leave it at that probably, actually, that's probably fine. We can even add a bin if we wanted to, but I'm thinking that we probably don't have to do that. Yeah, because then it'd get in the way of the drinks machine. Guys, I think we've actually made the entire build at this point. I actually think it would look nicer to have some lime terracotta in here instead of grass. And that's it. I do hope that you guys have enjoyed this tutorial. Please do remember to like the video and subscribe to the channel. I hope to see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.